Oh no, I like the look of your rubbish.
How do you make money for nothing?
I love a little rummage.
The answer could be hiding in the 30 million tonnes of household waste we throw out every year.
I think that I might be able to make something out of that.
That's why entrepreneur Sarah Moore wants to get her hands on things before they hit the skip.
That's wartime. I'm a passionate buyer, user and maker of old stuff, and I've turned that passion into a money-making business. I make new stuff out of old stuff and I sell it for a profit.
And with some of the country's elite designers and makers...
That was brave.
All the potential.
No!
She can transform her finds into desirable,
Work of art.
valuable and hopefully saleable items.
Holy moly.
If Sarah is successful, then she can hand the profits back to the very people who had no idea there was cash to be made from their trash.
Thank you, I'm astonished.
Today we're at the recycling centre in Altrincham, Greater Manchester, and lumber lover Sarah's here to stop some waste getting wasted.
Looking round here, you might see lame chairs, battered bureaus and broken sofas, but I see nothing but potential. I'm here to rescue, resuscitate and revive tired things and make some money for nothing along the way.
Unfortunately, we can't all haunt our local recycling centres. Sarah's got special permission for her mission.
What else have you got in there then? Shall I have a quick rummage?
Sarah's mining for 3 rough nuggets, which she'll transform into diamonds.
Sarah in the tip with the lead pipe.
I have no clue, though, what she intends to do with that. It looks like there's something with more potential in Charlotte's boot.
Oh, don't throw those away. Are they going in?
Yep. Fancy them?
You've got 2 of them?
Yeah.
Go on then, let's have a look. I'd love to. So, just had enough of them? Not comfortable or?
No, never owned them, so they were in the house we've just bought. So
Really?
don't fit with us.
Just left there and...
Yeah. So we've got enough chairs already. So yeah, sadly they've hit the tip.
So when did you move in?
It's a couple of weeks ago.
Is it going all right?
Yeah, hard work.
Yeah, well, you know, it makes you love it even more if you have to do something to it.
Exactly.
I'd quite like to go and try and do something with these. So.
Yeah, very welcome.
Excellent. I think they're quite interesting.
You can have them.
I think they'll only ever be a pair of chairs, but hopefully we can make them into something that you really want to own.
And it's really nice to not have to chuck it in the bin.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be in touch with some progress on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Make us jealous.
Thanks very much.
All right, cheers, bye.
Sarah looks pleased with these finds, but what does Charlotte think she'll do with them?
I don't know, but I'll be excited to see. It'll be interesting. Yeah, and I hope she makes us upset that we've thrown them away.
From the look of these rickety old things, she might struggle. What's the plan, Sarah?
The bad news is they're brown, they're looking a bit boring, especially with this maroon flock material on them. But the good news is, a pair always sells well. They've got some detailing here that I think could be picked out and made marvellous, and that will really help.
Sarah knows exactly the right person to transform those chairs. Award-winning textile and wallpaper designer Daniel Heath is a sustainability guru who relishes the chance to give reclaimed material a new lease of life. He adds his sought-after signature style to create one-off furniture and contemporary design pieces.
I love what I do because of the challenges that come from every project. There's never really 2 projects that are the same. Every brief is different and every client is different and wants me to produce something unique for them. So that obviously has an array of challenges that I have to face every day. Each one that comes along is different, and that's the joy of it.
Daniel says he is a fan of reclaimed rubbish, but he might be put off by the state of those chairs. That's item 1 done, but Sarah's not taking it sitting down. She still has 2 items to uncover, and the sky's the limit.
I'll take anything. This way.
Nice try, Sarah. Luckily, she's hovering over a heady haul in Robert's boot.
What are you chucking out?
All sorts of clearance from a cellar.
It's nice.
Yeah,
Look at
there you go.
that. No, we could really use that. Have you ever used it or not?
No. No, it's just slightly too large.
No, I think that has potential. This could be a good haul. Keep going. Do you mind me looking in your boot?
No, carry on.
That could be a slippery slope. I think that needs to go back into the metal, but
Quite right, Sarah. That's one vice you really don't need. But hang on, it looks like there's a more acceptable vice in there too.
just, that's really nice.
Would you like it?
I might.
Be careful. Worn-out old vices are well known for falling apart on people's toes.
Really heavy. I've got to be able to do something with that, haven't I?
Ouch!
So was this yours? Have you ever used it, or?
I think it was a friend of my son's, and there's a bigger one, there's a massive one as well that I've kept. It is spare.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but I'd really like to take it away and see if I can make anything out of it. So would you mind if I took your vice?
Yeah, I've got another one if you want to make earrings.
If I do manage to make anything, can I show you what I've done?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, I'll keep in touch, and I'm going to take that and ponder on what to do with it, but I must be able to do something decorative with it. Thank you ever so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a good day.
Well, Sarah will need an iron will to make something saleable out of that thing. What would Robert do with it, apart from earrings, of course?
Use it as a vice, I would imagine. I think it'd be too heavy for a paperweight, doorstop, all sorts of things, but I wouldn't recommend it as jewellery.
Why have I just taken that? I know why. It's old, it's solid, it's got lovely writing on the side of it, and it moves around. I know who likes working with this kind of industrial material, and there's money to be made here.
There is nothing that can't be turned into a lamp, and Guy Trench is here to prove it. Retired North Sea diver Guy is the mastermind behind his band of creative craftsmen who can make unique and quirky furnishings from the flotsam and jetsam of yesteryear.
I think the disposable culture we live in today is appalling, really, what we throw away, but it's not made to last. In the old days, they made things to last, and that's why I like doing what I do. It's keeping those things alive. So, for example, the old cameras. Why have them in the cupboard? There's something that ought to be brought out. So if we can turn them into a lamp, then we're going to keep it. But you could say to your grandchildren, say, that's what your great-grandpa used to use, that thing. And it's something they can relate to. So it's lovely preserving a bit of history. Isn't that rewarding? Fantastic.
Let's hope Guy finds that rusty old vice every bit as gripping as his other projects. That's 2 items filed under found. Sarah will take on the third and final item herself, if she can find something.
What are you chucking out?
Cardboard.
Oh, that's no good.
She's being unusually choosy.
You coming back with any furniture later then?
No.
Well, no time for small talk.
No furniture?
If it's furniture you're after, Sarah, take a look in Adrian's boot.
It's got a lovely pair of legs on it, hasn't it? More than a pair.
I was going to say 2 pairs.
2 pairs of legs. I see you've got a sweet little piano stool or something at a dressing
It
table.
was something that was up in the loft for a long time, and it's really just clearing it out. We have grandchildren and they like to play up there. This makes a little bit of room for them.
You're throwing stuff out of a certain era here
Yes.
that is appealing to people today. You know, lots of people like it's a vintage look, I have to say. I
Okay.
think vintage is now over 25 years old, so
What should I be doing with it then, do you
but
think?
bringing it here and letting me have a look at it. Ray Miller, Liverpool. Lovely, so it's not far from home, is it? They say brown furniture's making a massive comeback.
Oh, well.
And it's no surprise. Furniture from this era is often beautifully made with bags of character, and it'll last much longer than the average pine flat pack nonsense. Sarah's sure she can turn space saving into real savings for Adrian.
I hope that she can use them and maybe, I mean, sell them, that's fine by me. It would be nice for them to have a good home.
These are a sweet little pair of vintage items. Table, nice legs on it. It's got a little pie crust edge to it. And this stool was probably in front of a dressing table in the 1950s. Together, these are the kind of things that I'm seeing £5 each in a charity shop. Not great in this state, but these have potential to make profit.
Well, that's up to you, Sarah. With that table and chair nabbed, it's mission complete. Daniel will give those chairs the once or twice over. Guy will attempt to squash some profit out of that vice. And Sarah will be getting her teeth into all those lovely legs.
Today I managed to gather yet another unusual hoard of items, which once reimagined, I think have a real chance of making some money for nothing.
Bustling Walthamstow in north-east London is home to textile and printing aficionado Daniel Heath, who is nervously awaiting Sarah's latest offering.
It seems like she's got something that I'm going to be a bit unsure about, so I'm a little bit more anxious than normal. But I guess we'll have to, as ever, see what comes when it gets here.
Poor little chairs, abandoned at the tip. Somebody's got to show them some love, because currently they're covered in maroon. Daniel, he's the one. Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Really well, how are things?
Yeah, good to see you.
It's all hugs now, but he hasn't seen what Sarah's brought him yet.
Cheers. Right, okay. So, fairly straightforward, seemingly.
Yeah, let's go and have a look.
So far, so good. Dan seems pretty confident.
Okay, right. Some nice detail to it.
They're a bit weak, and I am personally a maroon hater.
Okay, well, I think the seat is really understuffed. The frame is sturdy.
Do you think they're suitable for an update?
I think we can probably do something with them. I'm not sure that they're going to have a huge resale value.
The chairs are around 100 years old, but in their current condition, they're unlikely to have any value. The challenge for Daniel is to add his signature look without breaking the bank, and there's a lot of work to do.
So I think basically it's going to involve using some fabric that I've got to reupholster. Sand or paint, not really sure. It looks like they're in okay condition, but I think underneath that's going to need some new something.
He's happy to work to a budget of £100 per chair, which should leave a bit of room for some profit for Sarah.
Seeing them brought back to life, making just a few quid, I'm happy to leave them at that. I've got great faith that you'll make them look fantastic, so thanks ever so much.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hope they're an easy one.
Cheers.
I feel a little bit sorry for Daniel, because those chairs currently are not a nice prospect. But I bought them here for a reason. I'm hoping his beautiful deco hand-printed fabrics are going to give those chairs just what they need to turn them into something saleable.
I'm glad that Sarah's bought these because they wouldn't have continued their life in any other way. So if anything, we're saving them from being broken up. So yeah, I'm glad they're here, sort of.
Dan's quoted £100 per chair, which makes a total of £200 for the pair. Daniel's fabric designs will add value, but he's no upholsterer, so those chairs could prove tricky. Near the historic town of Malden in Essex is the workshop of lighting supremo Guy Trench, aided as ever by his indispensable sidekick Keith. And Sarah's got a treat for them today.
I'm hoping she brings something of sort of a bit of history, something a bit old along, a bit rusty. We can change it a bit and we can make it look fantastic.
Let's hope Guy doesn't buckle under the pressure of that vice.
I tell you what, it's really lucky that I've got a black book full of contacts, because it's going to take somebody really skilled to turn that into something that's saleable and can make a profit. But it's all right, because I'm here to see Guy. Hello.
Hello,
Lovely to see you again.
Good to see you.
And you. Hi, Keith. How are you doing?
All right.
Help.
Ooh, a
What?
record vice.
I saw it at the recycling centre and I just thought there was something about it because it was lovely and chunky and it has all that wear on it that it just couldn't go in the metal skip.
And they're old and they're still made today, which is brilliant.
I mean, I thought because it's got that lovely ability to sit on a desk and be chunky that it could potentially be made into lighting.
I think you're definitely right. It definitely could be made into lighting. There's some nice colours we can wear back here.
Yeah.
With wire wool and a bit of furniture remover. Just have a look at, could it be a wall light? Let's have a look. Could that go on the wall and have a...
Yeah, like that. I think it is...
as a wall light.
Yeah, lovely.
Need
okay.
a good fixing and a good beam to put it onto. But,
yeah, I've been carrying it. It's not light, is it?
No.
Sounds like Sarah's come to the right place for vice advice. But what about the price? Let's hope it's nice.
That's a lovely idea. It looks charming because before I thought, you know, maybe it just go onto a man's desk, but you're putting that into interiors, into restaurants or something like that, aren't you? With that kind of look.
They could have the menu hanging from it and wind it up, you know, whatever they like, you know.
Obviously, that's quite a heavy-duty thing to work with, but what kind of costs are we looking at to get it the right kind of electrics in there, you know, the right safety? Because I know that there's loads of people making lighting, but it's very specific stuff that has to go into something like this, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we're looking at probably about £95 to do that, turn that into a wall light.
That leaves a nice bit of margin
Yes.
to make on. So
Yeah.
that's great price. I'm really pleased with that. I just can't wait to see what it looks like.
It'll look great.
Really good to see you. Give us a shout when it's
Thank
ready,
you, Sarah,
and
lovely.
yeah, I'll come back and can't wait.
Okay.
Take care.
Brilliant.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
You can tell when you're in the hands of an expert because they just make everything look so simple. That vice as a wall light, genius idea.
It's very different, and I don't think anybody in the world will have a vice as a wall light. So this will be a first off and a one-off.
Guys charging £95 to illuminate that rusty vice. It's certainly got a long way to go before anyone will want that industrial hunk of metal hanging on their wall. At home in Sussex, Sarah's about to start work on her own finds, and she needs some raw material from yet another dump.
You stay there, back in a minute.
As a huge fan of all things discarded, Sarah knows exactly where to find her nearest one, in her own garden.
I'm looking for buried treasure. If you live in the middle of the country 100 years ago, nobody collected your rubbish, so you had to put it somewhere.
Many old and rural properties have a historic rubbish heap similar to this one hidden away.
And you'll just find little pits with bottles and old batteries and broken up old enamel all over the place.
Sarah's been attacking hers for years. It's probably her favourite place. She's already got quite the collection of Edwardian and Victorian bottles and jars, but she's just a few short.
These are the inspiration for my next item. Wait and see.
Gloves might have been a good idea, Sarah. She's clearly got a plan for those, and she set aside that old white chair so that she can concentrate on the table.
This sweet little table I found at the tip, in its own right, it probably isn't worth very much. So I'm going to use my dug-up treasure to turn our table into a Posy table.
The Victorians had a habit of covering any available surface with interesting objects. In the spring and summer months, stately homes would proudly display floral blooms as posies from their walled gardens.
We're going to bring the Posy table right back in fashion. Everybody is going to want one of these. I certainly do.
Oh yes, me too, for my stately block of flats. But as usual, Sarah's taking things one step further. She's marking the position of the jars she's dug up, and she's going to embed them in the table.
All I've got to do now is make some little holes in the top of the table for them to go in. I'm going to use this.
That terrifying looking drill is fitted with a hole cutter that you can get in any decent DIY store.
That's scary.
Make sure you're a seasoned driller before attempting this.
Oh, that's perfect. That will definitely do. They look really cool.
Next, Sarah tidies up the holes and lightly sands the surface for painting.
So I'm painting it a lovely blue-black colour so that when the posies are in it, they really stand out. What do you think, Bramble? Bram? What do you think?
Well, Bramble's not impressed, and I'm not surprised. This isn't the most elegant of paint jobs.
I'm not seeking perfection here. I want a really rough, rustic look. A really bad paint job will obviously just add to its charms.
She's doing 2 coats, that dusty blue on the top and black on the legs. But Bramble's had enough.
It's like watching paint dry.
It literally is.
So what I'm going to do now is just take off all these crispy edges to make it look like I haven't just made it.
First she paints it, then she rubs it off again. It's hard work, this. I could do with a bit of a lie down myself.
What I'm trying to do is imagine how it would have been worn out if somebody had been using it all the time, like putting all the pots in these holes and where they pitched up on the edges.
For Sarah's final trick, adding a layer of dark wax to complete that vintage feel.
So you can buy these waxes in all sorts of different colours, or you can even stir paint into clear wax and make your own bespoke coloured finish. Still bored, Bramble?
Bramble, sausages! I knew she could hear me. Sarah's well on her way with her take on Victorian extravagance. And with just £5 spent on wax and paint, it may even make a healthy profit. But will she actually be able to sell such an unusual item? In Walthamstow, Daniel Heath has started work on his 2 tired chairs, and he's already found a problem.
So we have a major wobble that I'm concerned about at the moment. So let's investigate.
At last, that red flock material is removed and there are some unwelcome surprises underneath.
Oh wow, I think it was just the fabric holding the thing together.
With the chair so fragile, Daniel decides to take the riskier approach of drilling through the frame into the leg.
I'm going to try and get this straight, because if it goes off at an angle, it's going to come out through some of the detailing on the leg. Here we go. Even the sawdust smells old.
Next, Daniel adds a long screw to hold it all together. Very, very carefully, because if this wood splits, Sarah may return to only 1 chair.
I'm going to do the ultimate test now, and I'm going to sit on it, which might make some very entertaining footage. There's a bit of movement, but it's still up.
That's encouraging. With the legs now structurally sound, sort of, it's time for Daniel to think fabrics. As a textile and screen printing expert, this should be the easy bit.
I want it to be quite sophisticated and not too jazzy.
That is a bit jazzy, Daniel.
Maybe this isn't the ideal colour or fabric, but I'm just going to throw around a few ideas and see what we get.
Right, next up, elephants.
This is a circus-themed print, and it's got some playful imagery. Its pattern might work, and a corduroy might be a nice quality fabric finish to put on the seat cover.
Before he commits, it's time for some upholstery practice.
We want to make the pads quite thick because they were so flat and sad when they arrived.
With his eye on a limited budget, Dan's got a great source for padding.
And these are all foam offcuts from factories, and you can buy them quite cheaply. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Full marks for your eco-credentials, Daniel, but it all looks a bit, well, flat.
That looks like a big enough piece. Might have to glue some bits together as well.
Daniel cuts a stack of foam pieces to the right shape. Is he feeling buoyant about upholstery?
I've not done any upholstery before, so have a practice. Practice makes perfect.
Wise words. Dan's using a piece of MDF and cheap cotton as a test, so he doesn't have to experiment with the final material.
I quite like having a go and seeing if I can do something that I've not done before. if I'm trying something new out, I'll just go online and look at videos on YouTube.
He's right. You can find out how to do just about anything online. How do you think I learned to crochet? But new skills can take some time to perfect.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that upholstery is certainly more difficult than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I remember my first crochet hat, Daniel. It looked like an octopus. Don't be downhearted. It only took a few years to get good, and you've got a few hours. Best of luck. Near Malden, Guy and Keith are enjoying their heavy metal. And Guy's getting quite excited.
I do like this piece here. I think the best thing Sarah's brought to me, actually. I love the navy blue in this bit here. Not so keen on this silver here. Yeah. Someone's obviously painted it. I think what we ought to do is see if we can get rid of some of that paint. You know, it's just ugly here.
Under Guy's supervision, Keith attacks the unsightly silver with a sharp blade.
That is coming off, which is really nice.
Then some wire wool.
No.
And finally some paint stripper.
Makes life so much easier using these chemicals to remove nasty bits and pieces.
Perhaps you should have started with that, gents.
Whoa, here we go, there's a bit of blue coming through.
Keith sensibly wearing gloves, as that's nasty stuff to get on your skin.
I think when we finish that could look rather nice. Are you ready for a bit of wax on that, Keith?
Try that bit, yeah.
Yeah, OK.
Our busy bees are giving the vice a wax coating for a clean matte finish.
And slowly, slowly, you're seeing it being transformed. Lovely. No, that's nice. That's very nice. Yeah, no, I think that's clean.
Next, Guy calls on another of his associates, electrician Steve. Since Guy's making a wall lamp, Steve fixes it onto a wooden base so that it can be hung, because you don't want that thing falling down.
I think you need to hang this one on something which is fairly sturdy. A little lightweight plasterboard, it might pull out, so try and find something firm to put this onto.
Steve fixes a metal stem to the vice that will hold the light, but Guy's not completely satisfied.
I don't like this, you know, we've got a lovely old looking vice here, and we've got a nasty bit of steel, you know, which is shiny. It doesn't really go together. We don't do shiny, we like keeping things nice and old.
After Guy attacks it with some wire wool, Steve gives it a coat of tourmaline to darken the metal so it matches the rest of the vice.
Now you can see we've got a lovely black rod here. All looks in keeping with the rest of it.
Once it's dry and waxed, Steve threads his wire through and solders the light fitting in place. Meanwhile, Guy's grappling with some key design concepts.
It may look better with a shade, or without a shade, just a bulb. Do you know, I don't know. I'm not sure which is the best way to be.
Decisions.
Let's have a look at that, Steve. Yeah, it looks quite good.
In Sussex, Sarah's Posy table needs a final flourish.
As pretty much nobody's heard of a Posy table, we really need to get these things in context to take pictures to sell them.
Sarah arranges the flowers and places all the jars in their holes.
OK, that should do it.
But has she brought that humdrum brown table into bloom? Sarah took an unwanted old white seat and an average occasional table from the recycling centre. She soon decided to concentrate her efforts on the table. Now Sarah's taken it back in time and transformed it into a Posy table that wouldn't look out of place in the reception of a 19th century stately home. Those Victorian jars she found in her garden tip present her bouquets beautifully, and their colours pop out against the dusty blue of the worn-looking table. And Sarah knows exactly who to target for a sale.
I'm really pleased how this has turned out. The flowers in it look lovely, and that's important because if I'm going to sell this to a florist, it needs to really work. Definitely worth embracing those power tools.
At the dump, Sarah spotted some of Adrian's furniture.
It's got a lovely pair of legs on it, hasn't it?
It was up in the loft for a long time, and It's really just clearing it out.
which sadly had worn out its welcome.
You can accumulate only so much.
Sarah turned the table into a stunning floral display. Blooming marvellous. It looks great and was snapped up by Sarah Hughes, the owner of a vintage furniture store in Marlow, Buckinghamshire.
What Sarah's done with it is really imaginative, and I just think it's really fun. And I've got customers who are florists who are going to love it.
And now Sarah's at Adrian's home to surprise him with the good news.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Lovely to see you. How are you?
Very well.
Hi there, I'm Sarah.
This is my wife, Sarah.
Another
And
Sarah.
Two
Lovely.
Sarahs.
That keeps it very easy for me. So it was your things, the stool and the little occasional table you were dropping off at the recycling centre. Had you had them, have they been family pieces or?
Well, the stool, yes. The table, no.
Well, I set the stool aside and it was actually the table that I decided to work on because it had such an interesting shape to it. I've actually got some pictures here to show you of how it turned out. But before I do, have you ever heard of a Posy table?
A posy table? Presumably for flowers. What's a posy table?
Well, I can show you in a moment, but a friend of mine told me about it, and it is this lovely table that gardeners in big estates used to prepare little bouquets and buttonholes for the ladies and gentlemen of the house.
Wow.
So I've got some pictures to show you.
Lovely.
So here is your table.
Oh!
Oh, there we are. Can we have it back? Isn't that lovely?
It is. Oh, yeah.
This is proof of its reuse.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, it's lovely.
Yeah. It's nice to have something that is now going to be used.
Second life.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it's been snapped up by a shop, and I've managed to make you a little bit of profit on it.
Excellent.
So here is £130 for your occasional table.
We say around here it's better than the poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Lovely. Well, yes, I think it's definitely better than that.
Wonderful.
is.
That's wonderful.
Have you got thoughts about what you might do with it?
Well, yes, we have.
Alzheimer's Society.
My mother died about 10 years ago, and Dad looked after her for a number of years, well supported by the Alzheimer's Society.
Well, I think that is absolutely lovely, and I was really inspired by your old table, and that's a great place for that to go.
Splendid. Thank you very much.
A total pleasure. Lovely to have met you and to catch up with you, Adrian.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sarah spent a modest £5 on the makeover. She sold the Posy table for a whopping £135, earning Adrian and his wife Sarah £130 of profit.
Well, if Adrian and Sarah's reaction is anything to go by, there are going to be Posy tables popping up everywhere. I'm delighted that they like what I did with it, and I'm so pleased that that money is going to such a worthy cause.
Sarah's back in Walthamstow to pick up Daniel's first attempt at upholstery. Have all those online tutorials paid off?
It's been quite nice to work on the chairs. It's been challenging because I haven't done upholstery at all before, but it's nice to have them finished and looking good.
I'm here to pick up those two little chairs. Now, Daniel is really going to have to pull it out of the bag with this one, because turning a profit on those, that's tricky.
This pair of unwanted chairs had seemingly come to the end of the road. They looked more destined for the bonfire than the dining room, but all they needed was a spark of inspiration. The chairs are now contemporary and unique. With newfound skills, Daniel has made the chairs solid and sturdy, whilst using his old skills to screen print one of his designs onto the cord covering. With a vibrant lick of blue paint offsetting the raised yellow seats, these chairs would make a bold statement in any room. Daniel's dug deep with this one. Let's just hope Sarah's happy with the results.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Are they them?
They are a bit of a transformation.
They look completely different, don't they?
Yeah,
like,
they do, yeah.
Comfortable, and they look like they would fall apart before, didn't they?
Yeah.
This is beautiful, what you've done with the... I've never seen corduroy printed like that.
Thank you, yeah. We thought it'd be a nice sort of accent piece for somebody's front room.
And before they didn't look like that. I mean, they look like the ones you'd hide away and get
Yeah.
out if you had to.
Yeah.
And now, I think it's because you've luxed up the base bit here, you know, there's the seat pad to make it look generous, and they just have a completely different, like, warm, comforting look to them, don't they? Because they just didn't look like that before.
No, no. Yeah, they're quite comfortable. I can attest to that.
Well, that's great. But will Sarah be comfortable with how much they've cost?
I think you've done wonders with them. There was £100 each budget for them. Is that all right? Did
Yep.
you come in on budget?
Yeah, that's fine.
They will sell instantly, won't they?
Great.
Yeah, especially with a bit of Daniel Heath action going on the seat. That's fantastic. So I think if we get them packed up, I shall ship them out and see if I can make some money out of them.
Wonderful.
Thanks, they're great.
Cheers. Thank you.
Sarah's as puffed up as those seat bases. Does Daniel feel his first attempt at upholstery has been a success?
That went really, really well. I'm really pleased that Sarah liked the chairs so much. So, yeah, very happy.
Well, if there was one person who was going to make a profit on those chairs, it was Daniel Heath. Can't wait to get them sold.
At the recycling centre, Sarah came to the rescue of Charlotte's unwanted chairs.
Don't throw those away. Are they going in?
Yep. Fancy them?
And Charlotte wished them well.
I hope she makes us upset that we've thrown them away.
Daniel repaired them and gave them a bang-on trend makeover. At home, Sarah uploaded pictures of them onto the internet, on sites including social media, Etsy and eBay. People looked at the chairs and then decided whether to buy the chairs.
Well, I love Daniel's luxury update of those two little chairs. They didn't have much potential at the beginning, but now they have. And I am hoping they're going to be snapped up soon. And when I've made some profit, I'll be back in touch with Charlotte and giving her the good news.
Daniel's labour and materials came to £200. With no buyer as yet, we could be facing a potential loss. But with a bit more time, we should hopefully find the chairs a new home and we can hand over some profit. In Malden, Sarah can't wait to see what Guy's been up to.
This vise is such a quirky item because out of all the designers I know, I think Guy is pretty much the only one who would take it on. But who knows what a vise light will actually look like. Let's go and find out.
The vise was an old rusty lump of metal with very little aesthetic value. But thanks to Guy and his team of experts, it's now been reimagined into a conversation piece wall light with bags of character. It's been carefully stripped back to its original paintwork and waxed for a soft matte look, giving it the perfect blend of historic and desirable. The brand new light fitting has been expertly aged, so it feels as though it's always been there. And the team have topped it off with an optional lampshade to give it a sophisticated finish. They've managed to create a lamp which is undoubtedly one of a kind.
This has got to be my favourite I've done for Sarah. As a wall light, it really ticks all my boxes. It's really cool. It's going to tick her box, I think. It's different.
They say everybody has a vice, but will Sarah want this one?
Hi, Guy.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I can't believe it. Is that it?
That's it.
Isn't that clever? I can't believe you've turned that horrible thing into something decorative.
I think it's one of the best things recently I've done. And these actually work, so we can make the jaws go up smaller or larger. And I think the whole thing looks just amazing.
It's beautiful and yeah, just the right sort of finish on it as well.
It's got a nice look to it. It's quite sort of industrial. We've just shown it with a feather shade. So we could have a black shade, you could have just a funky bulb in, whatever you wanted.
It is really appealing. I love the fact you've put that piece of chunky wood on the back because the look's so strong, isn't it?
The vice lamp is an artistic triumph, but did Guy manage to clamp that budget down?
I think it was £95 to convert the vice. Are we anywhere near that?
We are on budget, just. It is really just. It's a little bit more extra work than we thought it was, but as you've bought me lots of things, we'll keep our word, and that's our price to you.
I think it's really exciting that you're creating these one-offs, and if this is the first Vice light ever, then we're really lucky to have that, and I'm pleased it came into the tip and it's ended up here. I think it's a lovely ending to its story. So thank you so much. So guys, answer the question, what does a Vice light look like? And the answer? Amazing and really saleable.
I love it, and her look on it was, wow, it's really different, and that's exactly what I'm trying to create for everybody. I think she loved it.
At the dump, Sarah pounced when she spied Robert's bootful.
What are you chucking out?
All sorts of clearance from a cellar.
That's really nice.
Would you like it?
I might.
Thankfully, she ignored Robert's suggestions.
I've got another one if you want to make earrings.
Instead, the Vice has been transformed into a wall light, and Sarah was soon able to sell it to Morag Smith, a furniture and interiors dealer from Berwick-upon-Tweed.
I think the Vice lamp is fab. It's quirky, it's unique, it has purpose, so it'll sell very well. Immediately, you're putting an interesting bit of history into a useful place in the house.
Sarah's back in Greater Manchester to let Robert know what became of his rusty old Vice.
Hi there.
Hi Sarah, how are you?
I'm really well. Nice to
Good.
see you again.
Nice to see you.
When I saw you at the recycling centre, I thought you were reluctantly throwing out some stuff, but were you having a clear out?
Yeah, I was having a clear out of the cellar. I guess the only thing that was of any value there was the Vice.
And did you think what we might do with it?
You could either use it as a bench Vice again or a doorstop. I couldn't really imagine anything more artful to do with it.
We took it to a fantastic chap called Guy Trench, and he specialises in making old stuff into lighting. So do you want to have a look what he did?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Here is your Vice in all
Can't wait to see it.
all its new glory.
Whoa. Oh, that's amazing.
He cleaned it all up and did that.
That's incredible. I didn't think it would be made into a light. I was thinking, I don't know, some art feature or something, if at all.
It was lovely and it has real appeal. So your light has sold. It takes quite a lot of investment to turn something like that into a light. So I've got a little bit of profit for you.
Oh, lovely.
I've just got 20 quid.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I was expecting nothing for it, so that's great. That's really good. I'm going to give that to charity. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. I'm glad that's going to a good cause. So thank you ever so much.
All right, thank you, sir.
Lovely
really
to catch
nice
up
to
again.
meet you. Thank you.
Guy charged £95 for labour and materials. The lamp sold for £115, leaving a profit of £20 for Robert. Sarah found 3 waste wonders at the recycling centre in Altrincham. Charlotte's suspect seats were given a stand-up makeover. Robert's old Vice was given a new twist as a lamp. And Adrian's table took a trip back in time.
Well, it might not always be straightforward, but I'm really proud of those 3 great transformations. And it's really good to know that all those things that we saved from the tip are off to brand new homes.